Hi, I'm Alexandria Packard, and this is my mock job interview. The company that I chose to interview for is actually the Appoquinimink School District. As a future educator, I found that to be my perfect company, and I would actually love to work for the Appoquinimink School District. And the three questions that I chose, I've actually written, and I'm going to show them to you like this before I actually answer them. So, the first question is, discuss your educational background. So I actually went to school in the Appoquinimink School District my entire life, from kindergarten to high school, and I had an amazing experience in school. All of my teachers were people who knew what they were doing. They cared. It was very clear that they put effort into their teaching. They challenged me. As a student, I really loved school in general, I think, which is partly because of the educational system that I was a part of in the Appo district. But generally, I really loved school, and I didn't have to try as hard as some other students, so I didn't want to challenge myself very much. And I found that through this district and a lot of my teachers, I was constantly being challenged to take higher level classes and put a little bit more on my plate, which made me a more well-rounded student and made me encouraged to be a future educator myself. And I hope that if I, as an educator, that I can do the same thing that my teachers in this Appoquinimink School District were able to do for me. And I know that the Appoquinimink School District prides themselves on the type of academic excellence that the students in the district are producing. And a lot of that is because of the teachers that the Appoquinimink School District is providing for these students. And because of that type of support and my love for education, I was able to excel not only in high school but in college. I graduated college with a 3.7 GPA, and I'm motivated to spend the rest of my life in a classroom, and was the first person in my family to go to college. So I owe a lot of the instructional support and encouragement in school to the Appoquinimink School District. The second question is, why should we hire you? So I believe that the Appoquinimink School District should hire me because not only am I familiar with the district, but I'm also familiar with the fact that it is the fastest growing public school system in the state of Delaware. I know that in the last 6 years, the district has built 10 schools. One of the newer schools in which I was a part of in high school, Appoquinimink High School, which was built in 2008. I also know that in that time, not only did you build 10 new schools, but you guys renovated 6. One of them being my elementary school, Townsend Elementary School. And I think that through a booming society that the MOT area is experiencing, it's really hard to play catch up and build and also be pumping out and producing the type of academic excellence that we are in the students that you guys are. And that's impressive to me and is something that I really, really want to be a part of. And not only that, but I also support the Race to the Top initiative, which I know that the district is a part of, as well as I'm an advocate for the Common Core State Standards, which I know that the Appoquinimink School District was one of the first schools in the state to implement the Common Core State Standards. I've had a lot of practice with the Common Core State Standards and how to properly align them to my curriculum and to classroom activities. And I also think that the Appoquinimink School District should hire me because I have I very well understand that one of the biggest issues we face in education today and nationwide is that not enough students are actually college ready by the time they graduate high school. Actually, 18% of the students who graduate start school right away in college and graduate and get their bachelor's in 6 years or less. So that's a very low percentage, and I know that the Appoquinimink School District is one of the biggest districts that are pushing back against that and are trying to support students to be college ready by preparing them for standardized testing, by producing teachers and a new curriculum. I know that the Appoquinimink School District, through the Race to the Top initiative, are constantly giving teachers and administrators new knowledge and just constantly working on how can we have students pursue higher level learning and go to college, and how can we make them ready? And I think that I would be able to do that effectively in the classroom through two ways. One, implementing the Common Core state standards through not just a normal ELA classroom, but through cross-curricular activities. I, as a teacher, would be dedicated to making sure that the things that I'm producing and teaching in my ELA classroom are things that would solidify the things that they're learning in outside of the classroom, which I know is a really big thing these days, is cross-curricular education. And two, producing the amount of reading. By increasing the amount of reading students would be doing in class, not only would they be building their reading stamina, which would help them be better prepared for college level classes, but also their reading ability and their reading levels, which would also help them be better prepared for standardized state testing. The third question is, what was the last book you read for fun? The last book I read for fun was actually a graphic novel by Congressman John Lewis, and it was called March Book 1, and it's actually his account of his experiences through the civil rights movement, and it's actually one of a few books that he authored. And I think that graphic novels and young adult literature in general is a type of literature that is very underrepresented and is something that I would implement in my classroom because it can preface and support the canonical texts that the Common Core state standards actually, wants us to teach. And I found that there's a lot of graphic novels that are paired with the canonical texts like Romeo and Juliet and Hamlet and even Beowulf. And by having students go through the graphic novel ahead of time, students won't get so tripped up on the archaic language when we actually do read the canonical texts, and they're more familiar with the storyline. It could increase their intrinsic value, which is something I learned through classroom psychology, and would help them better stay on track when we're actually reading the canonical text inside the classroom. So I would implement YA literature, definitely, and it's one of my favorite genres of reading. All right, well, that's it. Thanks for listening.